Hi, this is Danny Jarabek here with Awards Radar, and I am very delighted to have with me today Gabriel Luna, star of season two of The Last of Us. Gabriel, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Danny. It's good to be here.
First of all, congratulations on the work. It's an awesome character. I think you had a lot to deal with in this season, and I'm excited to unpack that with you today. So first of all, of course, just with season two, the transition from season one, stepping into a much bigger role for Tommy. How did you approach that in just the conversations you had with Craig and Neil and the team?
Yes, so I was aware of the trajectory of the character before having kind of played the source material and having had a lot of these discussions with Craig and Neil about potentially how we approach certain moments and um so I was really ready. I was ready to do this. I just had been thinking about it quite a bit and once the script started rolling in after the strike was lifted, I was so happy um, about the potential of the show and the kind of expansion exploration of Tommy as this version of him that you don't even really see in the game version because of just the a lot of the life events and the the fact that his son Benjamin is already born in our version of the story. Um, Also, the fact that Neil and Craig were receptive to this suggestion I had made in season one about potentially Tommy not being the one that's there during Joel's death, um, particularly just not being the one to offer up their identities, which is what happens in the game, and and just to see how that discussion that we had, a year and a half prior, came to fruition as this massive, incredible, epic action scene that happens in the second episode. So, reading the scripts, knowing what we were going into, I was very excited. I knew that we would be, we'd be tasked with the responsibility of just being the kind of the veterans of the production. Myself, Pedro Bella, and Rutina were the returning cast, and we were. I was really excited to meet Young and Izzy and everyone else who would be joining us. And so, many of which I had actually already met, which was really nice, and was already big fans of theirs. So I think just mentally it was more about uh, be ready, know the things that you know about Tommy, know the things that you want to explore, the layers you kind of want to dig out and excavate from this new position that he's in, or this more illuminated kind of uh, situation, family situation, community situation that we were granted with the live action version. So I think it was mostly just about um, breaking down. Okay, where's his body at this point? Where's his heart and mind, which are a bit kind of he's kind of being drawn and quartered by all the people in his family. Um, Wife pulling him one way, brother pulling him another, his son and his responsibility towards his son, and then of course Ellie and this rift that she has with Joel and trying to mend that and trying to be the go-between. So I think that there's just a lot of really interesting, uh, um, kind of fertile kind of storytelling ground there with him. Um, so mostly just considering all that,
Yeah,
get
for
my
sure.
my body ready to play old and to play being this kind of this big invasion as an older man, but still be able to be physically capable of doing it.
Yeah, you mentioned, of course, the action of episode two in particular, pretty much all out war with the infected in this major breach of the town. What was it like dealing with the physicality of all of that?
Well, I think it was um, yeah, it was just really important to me to be trained up and to be physically sound and I think the more one is physically sound, the more you can the more you take care of, your instrument, the more beneficial it is to the production, to the story, to everyone. And so that was um, kind of front of my mind, and I think that translates to the emotionality and the uh, every other aspect of the performance. If you can just be, uh, just be physically ready. I think I didn't really struggle with the physical demands of it. It was just more so trying to just keep it all alive in every moment and keep it all realistic and rooted in realism. Um, I've played characters in the past that are very much kind of invulnerable, kind of like superhero type characters. Um, so it was really about playing this man who has everything to lose and who's fighting tooth and nail to preserve this beautiful place and to be sure that his wife and son are alive at the end of the day, and not knowing whether they are, and not knowing whether he himself, with Tommy not knowing whether he's going to make it out, and to have these moments where of true terror and fear and fighting through all of that, only to kind of arrive at this point where he's cornered and is ready to accept his fate and to have victory kind of fall at his feet at that last moment. And so it was all really beautifully written. It was already there in the script, and I was just excited to just kind of go through these step by step and to stay alive in every single one of these moments, because I think that that's the only way that it works. Is if and I mean, one of my most prideful, uh, I guess, I guess what I'm most proud of, I think, is a lot of people who have responded with, "We thought you were going to die." And so many people were like, "Oh my God, we thought Tommy was going to die," and I was like, "Good,
I put
that's what
myself included in that.
yeah, good. That's what I wanted you to think." But yeah, it was a tough 3.5 weeks. It was about 3 weeks shooting the scene. Well, 2.5 weeks shooting the scene, an additional like 4 or 5 days of second unit, and then a return to the scene to shoot the last bit of the bloater fight with a completely revamped, newly constructed version of that part of the town that was a little bit more kind of labyrinthian, claustrophobic. And so all in all, I mean, we're talking 3.5 weeks of shooting this one scene.
Yeah, I definitely felt for you when that fire started running out, and we're watching a we're watching possibly the end of Tommy there. But you also mentioned kind of tapping into the heart and mind of Tommy as well, outside of the action, and a lot of this I think comes through in episode 3, dealing with the aftermath of Joel's death, both yourself grappling with that, but also helping the town grapple with that, especially balancing the authority that Tommy has and trying to balance how he's kind of presenting the issues that the town faces with how to deal with it. So how did you want to balance that presentation?
Yeah, I want it was because this is a deviation from the source material, which I really was excited about and appreciated the opportunity to reshape Tommy's path, um, and which ultimately still ends at the same place, but is this really new winding way of moving towards that end. Um, he because this is 3 months after the death of Joel, which in the source material he leaves the day after in pursuit of revenge on these
Mhm.
people. There's a very similar conversation with Ellie about the dangers and the unknown quantity that is that other group of people that came here and did, wreaked havoc on our family. And so there's very much still that cautionary, concerned uncle, protective element in both versions of the story. But in our version, um, some time has passed, and there's a lot, as you said, the authority and the responsibility of Tommy to rebuild, um, to stay available to his community and to his wife and son, to maintain strength or the illusion of it in the face of all that, of what's happened. Um, I think that that's all. really beautifully complex and true and realistic. Um, as much as Tommy may want to just ride out and seek his justice, I think that it's to have to have Bella's character, to have Ellie initiate that. Um, I think is a great change because then what follows is Tommy. Tommy does follow them to Seattle, but it's not out of a place. It's not out of this rash kind of seeing red kind of decision. He makes a very clear choice
Mhm.
to leave his wife and son to try to retrieve this person that he loves and save her and bring her back, bring her home. And that's a much more weighted decision than just to in a flash go and seek this out. So I was really very happy about that, and I think that there's a you know there's the moment where you get to really see just the reality of all the loss kind of fall on him is there with his brother and having this kind of moment, this kind of one man repass, one man wake with his brother's body there, and um, that was really special night to shoot that and to go ahead and unload a lot of the emotion of of the family and what that loss means to the family, what it means to the audience, what it means to the show, uh, and then also draw the audience, bring the audience back to the beginning of the story with just the one line, "Give Sarah my love," which is was the inciting incident of all this. You know,
Mhm.
the loss of that character is what drives Joel into his descent into darkness. It's what pulls him out. It's what uh, informs his relationship with his surrogate daughter Ellie. So all that is so important. And just to bring the whole story back to that moment was really critical. And I was happy and proud to be able to try to be the kind of the vessel through which that moment is delivered.
There,
But yeah,
there's another scene I think that really stands out with your character, and it's the conversation you have with Catherine O'Hara in the outfield of the baseball game.
right.
It feels like Tommy's being very vulnerable with her, and I'd like to hear just a little bit more insight on kind of how you crafted that scene in particular, especially having a scene partner like Catherine O'Hara for it as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you just kind of look her in the eye and go, and try to tell the truth. That's all you have to do with Catherine O'Hara, and it's it was so much about the defense of my family, uh, not wanting to believe certain truths about Ellie and how much Joel resides in her spirit. Um, all the good, but also all the bad and all the dangerous. And so I think that that's what that scene's about. It's just uh, and then when she tells me the truth and her true kind of perspective on it all, which rings uncomfortably true for Tommy, I think, and that's why you see him bristle at the idea that or the suggestion that Ellie's a liar or that she can't be changed, she can't be saved. Um, that's all kind of his worst fear, and it all comes true. Um, he loves her very much and is hopeful that there is a way for her to try to heal with us in relative safety. Um, but he knows that she's very much Joel's daughter and has become that. And so yeah, that scene is really interesting and was really fun that day to just sit out there and drink some fake beers with Catherine O'Hara and watch these little kids fall down over and over again. The little boy who falls down running to first base is Danny Virtue, our horse wrangler and our stunt coordinator, his grandson. And so he's comes from a long line and great stock of stuntmen. That kid, but
Starting early.
yeah, start him early.
Well, thank you so much, Gabriel. I just have one question to wrap up. I know if we ever run into a cordyceps apocalypse, Tommy's one of the first people I'm calling.
And you're
But how
calling.
long would Gabriel Luna last in an apocalypse like this?
Well, the truth of it is, and the answer I give to this question always is the only way I know how to answer this. It's like alone, maybe 10 minutes, with others and the people I love, and something to live for and something to fight for. I think a long haul. So it's dependent on your found family.
Well, I'd love to be part of that found family if the time ever comes. So I'll give you a ring.
Right.
But Gabriel, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations again on the work. It's a great character and a great portrayal of it. So appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and best of luck with everything moving forward.
All right. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it.
Yep. Have a
Adios.
good one.
You too.